Look at this, folks, I'm in the UK and the sun's actually out. That means we're getting ready for our summer holidays. And in this video, I'm going to talk you through a few things that you should be doing to prepare yourself for those road trip holidays if you're doing it in the UK or if you're going abroad. Keep watching. So let's start off with the most obvious one, and it's really checking things like your fluids, checking your condition of your car, and particularly your tyres. This is something that a lot of people forget to do. This, folks, is the only part of the car that comes in contact with the road, so you want to make sure it's in absolutely tip-top condition. So that means checking things like the tread, and you can get a little tyre tread gauge really cheaply for that. I'm going to put loads of useful links in the video description for you, but also checking the tyre walls, making sure you don't have big lumps out of the tyres, because that can lead to a blowout, and a blowout is not a good thing. Giving your car a good wash is a good idea as well. If you can't see clearly out the windows, that becomes an annoyance at best, and you know, could be dangerous at worst, I guess. On that subject, get yourself some screen wash, top up your screen wash fluids. It's not always the easiest thing in the world to top up your fluids. I've resorted to going in Poundland and buying a big bottle of water before to do it, because it's difficult to find a public source of water. Now this, of course, is an electric car, so you probably want to make sure you've got an RFID card of some kind. I'm going to put my link to the 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙁𝙁 one in the video description. I think if you sign up using that link, you'll get a £5 and I'll get a £5. But you want to make sure that public charging is convenient as possible for you. If this were a petrol or diesel car, I'd obviously be looking at all the fluids, making sure that all looks good, checking the oil, all the simple but obvious stuff. And a lot of people think, well, my car doesn't break down during the week, so why is it suddenly going to when I go on holiday? There are two reasons for that. One is a thing called Sod's Law, which means if it can happen, it probably will at the worst possible time. But the other one is your car on a day-to-day basis is probably just being used mostly for doing little trips around town. You're probably not doing 600 miles in it every couple of days, and that's where you might find you've got one or two little issues, and if you get them dealt with before you go away, or certainly reduce the chance of them happening before you go away, you'll be a happier bunny for it. The next one applies really if you're driving in the UK or abroad, and that's making sure there are no low emission zones issues wherever you're going. Lots of cities now have 𝙁𝙁 charges or the equivalent, and if you're going abroad, sometimes your vehicle can be banned from certain city centres, or you have to register the car in advance. I've been to France in this car, and that means I got one of this. This is a Crit Air sticker, and it only cost me about a £5, but it means I can drive in lots of French cities where I otherwise wouldn't be able to, even though I'm in a fully electric car, simply because it's not registered in France as being a fully electric car. Now, getting yourself some good breakdown cover is an absolute no-brainer, whether you're in the UK or going abroad. There are loads of places you can go for it, but my long-time channel sponsor, ALA, has got a fantastic breakdown product that's actually pretty cheap. They've got access to thousands of recovery vehicles, both in the UK and in Europe. And I think you'll find the prices and the cover fairly competitive. If you use the code GYM10 at checkout, you'll also save 10% on any of those prices. So head on over to ala.co.uk and get yourself a quote as soon as possible. Now, of course, if you are driving in Europe, there are loads of other things to think about. Firstly, you want to make sure you've got adequate insurance. You might need a green card, so arrange that with your insurance company. A quick call to the insurance company should get it all sorted. It'll probably cost you nothing or very little to get it sorted if you don't have it. You might need an international driver's permit. Again, it's fairly cheap and inexpensive to get, but depending on where you're going, that may be a requirement. And then in most of Europe, you're also going to have some basic things that everyone has to have in their car. And if you're stopped by the police and you don't have these things, you're going to get a big fine. In France, for example, you have to have a couple of breathalyzers with you. You have to have a couple of high vises that are easily accessible from the glove box, so you don't have to go into the boot to get them. And if you do break down, you have to put one of those on. You have to have a warning triangle. You need stickers on the car to say the car's UK, or what used to be GB stickers, they're now UK stickers. You need reflectors on your headlights. So there are lots of things to consider. You can buy just a pack that includes all this stuff, which is probably the easiest way to do it. You can get cheaper or more expensive versions, but about 25 quid. So there's no great drama in doing any of this, but it just requires a little bit of preparation. And if you want to take things a step further, it's not a bad idea to get your 12-volt battery checked. You can buy a tester for about 7-8 quid, something like that, just to check the 12-volt battery on your car. And also one of these, a little tyre inflator. That, if you've got bad puncture, that's not going to repair your puncture, but what it might do is help save your bacon, might save your wheel, because you might be able to get enough air into the tyre that you can drive somewhere safe or somewhere where you can actually get the thing repaired or replaced. And then finally, just get your documentation in order before you travel and stick everything in your glove box. So things like your driving licence, if you need special insurance like a green card, anything like that. In a lot of European countries you'll also need to carry your V5 with you, what we used to call a logbook back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. So just have a look at the kind of documentation you need to have with you and shove it all in your glove box. A lot of this stuff, you know, doing it a few days in advance or a few weeks in advance can save you a lot of time and hassle, and it also saves that last minute panic. And actually coming out and loading your car knowing you've got absolutely everything you need, the car's in good shape, you shouldn't have any problems. If you do, you've got breakdown cover. You know, just a tiny bit of time planning and getting a few of these things in order before you travel can be the difference between having a great holiday and having a frustrating one. Folks, I'm going to put a link to my Amazon storefront in the video description. There's a list on there called the Essentials, which has got all the stuff I've mentioned in this video. Little tyre gauge is about 3 quid. Your European travel kit's about 25 quid, something like that. Jump leads, screen wash, all that kind of stuff's available there on that Amazon store. I think I get a few pence every time you order something from it, so it's not going to change my life, but hopefully it will help you out. And also a link to ALA, who've sponsored today's video. As I said, they provide a really decent breakdown cover at a really reasonable price. So well worth having a look. It only takes about 10 seconds to get a quote for your car online. Thanks ever so much for watching, folks. I'll see you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.